So I don't know about you, but when I'm in the kitchen cooking, I've always got a little supervisor. Here he is, little chalky boy. Always likes to see what's going on in the kitchen, don't you? Okay guys, so I thought I would try doing a little recording of the treacle scones that we're going to make, okay? So here is all the ingredients that we need here. So in my large bowl I have got my 240 grams of self-raising flour and my 2 teaspoons of baking powder. I have got 60 grams of butter and I've got 30 grams of light brown sugar. You can just use 30 grams of caster sugar. Okay, but I quite like using the brown sugar in my treacle scones. And then we have got our 2 tablespoons of dark treacle, 100 ml of milk and 1 egg. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is preheat our oven. So that's my oven on at 220. And I've also got a baking tray ready with some parchment paper on top. Okay, so the flour and baking powder is already in my bowl. So the first thing we are going to do is add the butter. And we're going to do the rubbing in technique until it resembles breadcrumbs. Okay, so remember this is just using the tips of your fingers, and we have used this technique several times before. Okay, so this will take a little while for it to come together as you would like it, so just be patient with it. Okay, so I think mine is nearly there. Remember to shake your bowl side to side to make sure these lumps are not butter. Okay, so that should all come together and it should be breadcrumbs and there should be no lumps of butter in your mix, okay? There we go, so I think I'm quite happy with that. I'll just wash my hands. Okay, so the next thing you need to do is just stir in your sugar. Okay. Alright, so I'll just pop that to one side for now. So in a small bowl or a measuring jug, you can use a fork to mix your egg, milk and treacle together. Alright, so I'm just going to use a jug because I've already got my milk in here, okay? So I'm just going to crack my egg, pop that in as well. And then just start whisking that with a fork. And then make sure you add your treacle in. is where it'll get a little bit messy because you want to get all that treacle in there. Then make sure you give that a good mix until it is well combined together. So the more you mix it in with the treacle, the darker your liquid mixture will become. Okay, so that's your egg in there, your milk and your dark treacle, okay? So you now want to add this to your flour and to form a wet dough. Just making sure that I've got most of the treacle off my fork in the jug. Okay, I'm just going to pour this in. There we go. So that's everything in your bowl, so give that a good mix together. Okay, so I think I'm quite happy with my dough now, so I'm going to lightly flour the surface and turn it out and start kneading it to make it into a workable dough. Don't forget to also pop some flour onto your rolling pin. Okay. So don't forget to use your spatula as well. If you've got a spatula at home, that gets everything off the sides of the bowl. Perfect. Okay, let's have a look. So I wasn't sure, I felt like my mixture might have been a bit too wet, but it actually might be okay. Okay, so I think I'm quite happy with that, so I'm going to give it a good roll out. Okay, make sure you've got flour on your work surface. Okay, so make sure your dough is about 2 centimetres thick. Okay, and I've got a scone cutter here. I think this is 7 centimetres. Okay, but I will double check. So once you're happy with that, just start cutting out your scones. And pop them onto your baking tray. So that mixture of dough has given me 8 scones. Okay, so pop them in the oven for about 8 to 10 minutes. Okay, so now the scones are in the oven, let's just get it tidied up. Obviously I've got some extra dough here. You can just keep going and make as many scones as you want. Okay, so my scones have been in for about 10 minutes, so I think they're going to be ready now. Let's have a little look. Okay, so as soon as my scones come out, I like to sprinkle a little bit of sugar over them. Okay. So leave them to cool on the baking tray, and then I like to move my scones onto a cooling wire. How good do these scones look? Yum, yum, yum.